When you're at a particularly challenging time in the business, you might consider hiring a consultant to tell you, based on your goals, this is the strategy, these are the tactics, this is the methodology that will work to accomplish those goals. And that may be useful to a certain extent. However, I find that what people don't tend to consider is that the strategist will make recommendations and give advice based on how they're thinking, their model of the world, how they would approach something, the network that they've had, the way that they grew up, the kinds of professional background they've had. So they're very much operating from the way that they're thinking and being. And simply put, that just may not fly for you, And so how it's different when you hire a coach is that they're working with you and how you're being and how you're thinking and where you're having blind spots. And just because the strategy worked for someone else doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to fly and work for you in the same way. And so I find it's a really big thing that people don't think about, because it is so tempting to buy in a how-to, to buy the 10 steps, the strategy paper, the consultant's expertise, because then we outsource the confidence in our plan. And I think what a really great coach anyway, does is to help you create your own confidence and path based on what is feasible for you, based on what is desirable for you, what will make it a decent enough pleasurable experience, right? Even if we're facing a challenge, it gives ideas, right? It's like a brainstorming kind. It gives you ideas as to, okay, well, where do I start? What could I do to grow my business, to reduce my cost base, or to get my team to collaborate better? Whatever challenge people are facing, I do think consulting does give here's what is good practice in your industry kind of examples. And at the same time, I think there's a risk to rely on that as a solution for you and your team in a way that may just not work. And then it's disappointing for people. I've previously worked in corporate contexts where everybody in the team's already rolling their eyes because there's a new set of consultants coming in here, yet again, trying to change everything, and nothing changes. And that is because people aren't bought in then, because it's not their own ideas. It's not their own vision. And that's where I think it gets tricky, especially in the corporate context or, larger business context. So yeah, there is merit to having consultants, of course. And in certain circumstances, that makes so much sense. But I think what my kind of leaders are looking for is often a much larger transformation, which means that they are not going to continue doing and being in the same way that they have before, and therefore create a different result. And a consultant would not usually address that.